10 years ago, and I've got nothing to say. Nothing to say. Nothing to say.
Of evidence that the early Gnostics used visionary mushrooms of various kinds, both psilocybin and Amanita muscaria. This is indicating a Gnostic mushroom sacrament. Now, the Gnostics were a religious group who existed in Palestine and in Egypt in the early centuries of the Christian era. They actually saw themselves as Christians, and they saw themselves as the real Christians, and they did not regard the literalist faction that became the Roman Catholic Church as the real Christians at all. But the literalist faction that pulled on the jackboot of Rome and became the Roman Catholic Church did regard themselves as the real Christians, and to make sure that there was no mistake about that, they decided to utterly annihilate the Gnostics. The Gnostics were amongst the first victims of Christian burnings at the stake. Not only were the Gnostics massacred in huge numbers, but all their books and documents were also burnt and destroyed, so that we would only know about the Gnostics through the words of those who criticized and condemned them. But for one thing, here near the Temple of Hathor at Dendera, at a place called Nag Hammadi in Upper Egypt, a group of Gnostics fleeing Christian persecution buried an entire library of their texts. And that library are known today as, they're known today as the Nag Hammadi Library, the Gnostic Gospels. And we have had them back since 1945, when they were discovered. And they are an absolute time bomb of critique of what we have come to believe are the established and rightful and proper religions. And I'm going to report a little bit about Gnosticism here. And I appreciate that what I say may cause some offense to some. But I am simply trying to report to you what the Gnostics believed and help you to understand why they were subjected to such vicious persecution. First of all, there's a lot of misunderstanding about Gnosticism. Gnosticism is taken to be, and this is largely through the words of those who persecuted them, it's taken to be a doctrine that hated matter, that regarded matter as evil, and that regarded spirit and matter as totally separate things. This is not the case. The Gnostics did not hate matter. The complex cosmology, where you have the aeons, effectively the divinities of the Gnostic pantheon, and you have a kind of cosmic fall from grace where the goddess Sophia, dreaming of bringing novelty into the world, dreaming of creating the anthropos, of creating humanity, falls into matter and becomes the earth. It's impossible for those who believe that to hate matter or to hate the earth. Their goddess is the earth. And it's seen as a tragic event in the pre-cosmic world, and in her fall, Sophia, in this catastrophic fall, Sophia also creates an entity called, the Gnostics called the Demiurge, who is not God. He's a supernatural being. He's a kind of puffed up, bloated, egotistical fool, actually, who loves to be worshipped and adored, and is jealous of the divine spark that Sophia has inserted into mankind. And the Demiurge himself creates archons, and these archons effectively are evil angels who mingle with mankind and seek to drive us poor wretches to all manner of crimes and actions hostile to the nature of the soul. Here's the dynamite. From the Gnostic point of view, the entity we've been taught to worship as God, who we might call Yahweh or Jehovah, the Muslims call Allah, some just call God. From the Gnostic point of view, that entity is the Demiurge. He's not a God at all. He's the chief of the archons. He's a malicious, jealous, egotistical, minor supernatural, who under many names and guises has deluded many into believing that he is God, our creator and creator. And these archons, who disguise themselves as humans and mingle amongst us, spread fear and hatred and suspicion and drive us into all manner of reckless crime. This is, when you look at it this way, you know that movie, The Usual Suspects, the greatest trick that the devil ever played was to persuade the world he did not exist. From the Gnostic point of view, the greatest trick the devil ever played was to persuade the world that he is God. And actually, when you look at the God of Abraham in the Old Testament, he's a vicious, malign old bugger, frankly. I mean, really, the stuff he's telling people to do, the violence he's telling us to inflict, you know, just telling people to take other people's lands, murder everybody else, the slaughter. He's a really horrible character. Is he really a god? Or maybe the Gnostics were onto something here. And the Gnostic story of the Garden of Eden, again, everything's upside down. We've been taught that the serpent is wicked. The serpent is the devil. No, from the Gnostic point of view, the serpent's the good guy in the story. He's saying to Adam and Eve, you need to have knowledge of good and evil. You are not just, meat robots. You are here to nurture the divine spark within yourselves. If you're going to nurture that, you have to know good and evil. You have to make choices between the two. You have to take responsibility for your choices. That's how you grow as a soul.
When I was young and they packed me off to school and they taught me how not to play the game, I didn't mind if they groomed me for success or if they said that I was just a fool. So to my old headmaster and to anyone who cares, before I'm through, I'd like to say my prayers. Well, you can excommunicate me on my way to Sunday school and have all the bishops harmonize these lines. I don't believe you. You had the whole damn thing all wrong. He's not the kind you have to wind up on some.